The other type that we're used to seeing quadratic functions in is in some textbooks are called polynomial form. Some would call it general form. Other books have called this expanded form, where basically I have it written as f of x or y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Even in this format, I'm able to find pieces of information that's going to help me be able to draw the graph. For instance, just like the previous one, I'm skipping down a couple lines first. That number, I mean, here the value of a is the number in front of the x squared, was as before. A was the number in front of the parenthesis, but that number, if it's positive, means it's going to open up, and the vertex will be a minimum. If a is negative, it's going to open down, and the vertex will be a maximum. That value of a also is being used for me to find the axis of symmetry, because if I want to find the axis of symmetry, I use a little formula there, x equals negative b over 2a. And I have to remember that b is the number in front of the x, a is the number in front of the x squared. That's how I'm going to keep them straight. So, excuse me. So, don't just automatically think that a is the first number you see in a quadratic function. I mean, you have to make sure it's also in front of the x squared. We usually write them in order from highest power to lowest power, but sometimes they're not necessarily presented to you in that order, so just be careful about that. And all the second thing is showing me there that as far as the vertex goes, well, obviously that negative b over 2a is going to be the x coordinate of my vertex. So if I take that x coordinate, whatever it's calculated to be, and I plug that into f of x, that's going to help me find the y coordinate. So let's demonstrate what that means for a problem like this. If I want to get a graph of y or f of x equals 1 half x squared plus 3x minus 2, I first know it's going to be a parabola. It's going to open upward. I know my a value is 1 half, my b value is 3, my c value is negative 2. I can equate or come up with the axis of symmetry equation by doing x equals negative b over 2a, or in this case, negative 3 over 2 times 1 half, which means the axis of symmetry for this would be at x equals negative 3. As you see, I already drew it there. The vertex, well, I'm going to find the y coordinate of that vertex by taking that x I just calculated for the axis of symmetry and plug that in for the x value I have in my function, and I get negative 6.5. So that means that my vertex is going to be at negative 3, comma, negative 6.5. I know it's going to open upward again, but I still want to know how narrow it is, how wide it may be. So I just don't want to draw like a U shape, and just because I now know I have a vertex. I have other points of reference I'm going to need to get a more accurate shape. Again, I'm going to pick some numbers, some x values, and again, I'm picking values that are bigger or to the right of negative 3. So I picked negative 2, 0, and 2. No particular reason why. I picked a lot of even ones because the even ones should work well with that 1 half I have for the a value. Keep my answers mostly integers. If I put each one of those numbers into that function f of x, those are the y values I would get. You see I plotted them on the graph already. And again, much like before, each one of those points should have a mirror image that's the same distance to the left of the axis of symmetry as these are to the right. So I would find out where their mirror images are. I see I have them written in orange up here. And then I would connect all the dots to get my graph.